We never do the show run too early, but we'll fine. We will survive.
Do your contact.
Ooh, due to poor connection. What's going on with that? I mean, that don't matter. That don't matter at all. Focus. Tell people to go to the YouTube. All right. So let's move this back a little. I will use that as the cue to actually start the episode. So first thing I want to say is welcome Bella Issa to Chat Bout Flim. Here we are on episode 8 of Chat Bout Flim. And what I want to do first is just introduce you to the team. Everybody, this is Bella Issa, the big time director, big time Jamaican director. I want to big up Jheanelle Levy.
Hey guys, missed you.
So Jheanelle Levy is our co-host / producer. Then we have, you send him that mic. Then we have Jamar, our technical engineer.
Yeah.
And then we have our producer madman, aka Tony Dice.
I resent that statement.
Big up JB in the house over there reading books. So
Math books.
So we just want to welcome Bella Issa. How you feeling?
Feeling good. Haven't seen you in so long. It's so good.
True that. For those who don't know, I actually counseled Bella Issa when she was 13 years old.
I'm sorry to hear that.
At Morelands Camp. But yes, here we are now as two creatives here to chat about Flim. For those who are here for the first time, a quick rundown of what Chat Bout Flim is. It is a show where literally it does what we say. We chat about film, but we try to keep it local as much as possible. Hence, we have the illustrious guest, the director extraordinaire here, as our something local for today. We will review trailers. We will talk about our own topics. Today's topic is going to be Star Child, which I think is a fitting topic, seeing that your film is about a star child. Before we actually start, I actually want to have a moment of silence before we go into our first hot topic, and it is for, so the moment of silence is for Chadwick Boseman, also known as Black Panther. So this episode is actually dedicated to Black Panther himself, Chadwick Boseman, who has also played a lot of iconic characters, Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall, James Brown. He's really just an extremely talented actor, and it's so sad that he has passed. So just a little 10 seconds of silence. I'll go work on it. All right, rest in power, rest in power. So that is our hot topic. Gigi, just introduce the topic anyway.
Okay, guys. So as you know, Friday, August 28th, Chadwick passed. In fact, a lot of with colon cancer since I believe 2016. And from then till now, he has been doing treatments and giving us movies every year. So it's really sad to find this out. I mean, it's really sad to find this out. I mean, I don't think anybody even really knew until the passing that he had the cancer.
Right.
And to just know afterwards that he was just like holding on for his fans to give us all his movies is really sad. But you guys can give us your take on it.
So tell me, how do you feel about his impact? How do you feel about his passing? All of it.
I mean, it was so surprising because, like you said, I don't think anybody knew. And I think, to know everything that he was doing, was working on while battling that privately, I just think it speaks to his character, who he was, on screen. Is even that much more inspiring for his audiences and for the little boys and girls who he really impacted. Yeah,
definitely. What I do look on when I go back is the fact that he obviously went for these impactful black roles. You know what I mean? I had like my own criticisms about Black Panther, the movie in general, but what I do love about the movie is it's not just attempt, but its success at bringing black pride.
Right.
And he was big on pushing pride of color, and to know that he was a symbol of strength as well. I mean, doing addresses to graduation addresses, things like that, shows that his aim was for that. And to know that he said, you know what, we're not going to let the people know. I'm going to push myself to the limit to do this art,
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna go. And it's really sad. It's really sad. He was a very powerful figure in the film industry. And when I saw when I saw it, I thought it was not a prank, but maybe people weren't sure.
Like one of
I
the
was
Eddie
just like,
Murphy things.
yeah, I was like, God damn 2020. Like,
Yeah.
give me a break, you know? But what we have to just respect him. We just have to just say Wakanda forever, just move it from there and just say, yo, use his art to propel things. Use what he was trying to bring out in his acting to influence, you know? And we'll just take it from there. You know, I'm glad that I lived in a time where he was an actor of my time. You know, rather than he passed and then later on people hear about him.
Mhm.
I'm really happy to have experienced him as an actor. You know,
I mean, I remember even just in LA going to see Black Panther and seeing just the amount of young people in there who were just so excited, you know, who could finally feel like they could identify with the superhero and saw themselves on the screen. And it was just so beautiful to stay even after they would all rush out and take pictures with all the posters. And it was just like a different level of excitement that it was so refreshing just for me as a filmmaker to witness.
Definitely. So big up Chadwick Boseman. I mean, we're saying Black Panther mostly because that's probably his biggest, most iconic role. But in general, he was a great actor across the board. He will be sadly missed, and I always mourn celebrities that were still contributing. And that's what I'm sad the most about. What he would have done, what he would have contributed. That's what I'm sad about the most. So that was today's hot topic. So let's just move into our Star Child topic and start off with our trailer of the day. Gonna just sorry. Did you just you don't okay. It's the same main actress. Under here, sir.
No.
No? Mm-hmm. Anytime soon.
Real professional secretary.
Yeah. And you can talk about it in the microphone. So this is Maisie. No, that's not Maisie.
What? Millie Bobby Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown. So she's an actress from Stranger Things.
Now, where to begin? My mother named me Enola. So, no. And yet, we were always together. And it was wonderful. She was my whole world. Which leads me on to the second thing you need to know. A week ago, I awoke to find that mother was missing, and she did not return. I'm presently on the way to collect my brothers, Mycroft and Sherlock. Yes, Sherlock Holmes, the famous detective, my genius brother. He will have all the answers.
Enola. What do you have in your gloves?
Well, I have a hat. Just makes the head itch. You don't have no gloves.
My God. I am will make her acceptable for society. She seems intelligent.
There are two paths you can take, Enola. Yours, or the path others choose for you.
It is time to find my mother. The game is afoot. If I have to stay hidden from my brothers, I must become something unexpected. A lady. You progressed nicely.
She's safe.
She's at company.
I'm Viscount Chixbury.
A useless boy.
You have to help me. I'm not ready to die in a train.
I'm not ready to die at all, and I was going to before I met you. What are you planning, Mother?
You always had a reason for everything. A way of doing things. Perhaps she wants to change the world.
Perhaps the world that needs changing. Unlike most well-bred ladies, I was never taught to embroider. I was taught to watch and listen. I was taught to fight. I'm going to find you, Mother.
You know how to embroider.
That was fun.
What you said? That was
That
fun?
was fun. Yeah.
That was fun. So
was
it-
fun.
You know, is for trailer reviews is let us look at it, tell us how you feel. So you're excited for this? This is definitely something that you want to watch.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy Stranger Things?
Yeah, I did.
She was definitely one of my favorite characters in Stranger Things. Just her acting.
She has such a powerful, just everything. Like her synergy with the camera is insane. Yeah.
And I think this role that she's playing, she fits it well. It's one of those high energy trailers.
Yeah.
And I think it will be a high energy movie. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
It feels almost like it could have been like a Greta Gerwig type.
Yeah, okay.
You know, like a fun, like upbeat, but like a different take.
All right. I didn't think of that. But yeah. I can see that. So definitely looking forward to it. While I wait on whenever the hell Stranger Things season 3 is coming. Is there any update on that? Did that get paused because of COVID? Oh well, it's fine. It's a Netflix original. That's a little too meta. Check that out.
Oh.
As we wait on finding out season 3. So yeah, well actually. Don't worry about Stranger Things season 3. We're going to move into our next segment.
Our next segment is something local, and you're the something local. We want you to talk to us about your movie. Okay. How I guess the evolution of it, like how you first got wind of it, who you talked to, and then your experience while directing.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to I would like you to plug, I don't know if you noticed, we put in our stories a music video that you got.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Tell us
about that too.
Yeah, tell us about the music video experience and also what you got, what it got selected for on that IG page.
Okay, yeah. So with Yellow Girl and Me, it was inspired, it's my thesis film at AFI. What's AFI? AFI is American Film Institute. That's where I just finished my master's in directing.
No, we don't just make these things go by, Yeah, we have a bus shot, She never just said degree. She never said PhD. She said masters. Okay, sorry.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I had to do a thesis film my second year, and had to be shot in LA. And so how it works is that you can everybody can submit a script if they want. And you're supposed to team up. There's 25 people in the directing class. You're trying to have 25 teams. And so I was submitted Yellow Girl and Me this treatment, and it got accepted. But where the idea came from was my dear friend Nicole, who Jamaican, and a few years ago I wanted to learn sign language, and I got put in contact with her, and she was going to teach me sign language. She's deaf, and met her. We started a friendship. After like 2 years of knowing her, we went for lunch one day, and then a few days after she said, I want to share my story with you. So I sat down with her and her mom who adopted her, and they signed and translated the whole story to me. And it was just the most powerful story I've ever heard. And through speaking to her, it got me thinking about, what stories do we see coming from Jamaica, and what's the narrative. And I can't say that I've ever seen something where I'm like, oh, this is really representing Jamaican women well. And this is giving them a place to be seen as strong and vibrant and, powerful. And it upset me. And I got really, really angry. And I, going back to LA to present the treatment and the idea, you're thinking, okay, well, am I going to try to do this in LA and recreate Jamaica? Or do I wait and try to do this in Jamaica for probably a lot less money and everything's just a lot more authentic? And just saying, okay, well, I'm at AFI, I have this chance now to make this film with this crew. I was like, let's just do it and use it as a proof of concept for a feature. So that's what I did. The casting process was just so crazy, but I'm in love with my cast. And
tell us a little bit about the cast that's in the film.
Okay, so the little girl, her name's Dior.
She's so cute.
She's so cute. And she...
No, you don't.
Okay. And I was looking for Jamaican children in LA, searching for them, couldn't find any, and found one who just moved to LA, and met with her. She was so shy, so shy. and she was even twanging, and I was like, I can't deal with this. But my one thing was like, I did not want to cast Americans to play Jamaicans. It was like the number one pet peeve. And the receptionist at
they usually do a terrible job.
Awful job. And
cute cool runnings.
Still I got her groove back.
Still I got her groove back. So I'm just going to introduce you guys to a thing on Chat Bout Flim. We call that bully beef acting. Right? So like you watch a bully beef commercial and say, you didn't know bully beef tastes like this. So that is the bully beef acting that we do.
Right. So I was like, it's not happening. And then the receptionist at AFI is Jamaican. And she was kind of like a second mom throughout my AFI experience. And she's like, but Bella, I have a granddaughter, and she's not Jamaican, but her parents are Jamaican. She's around Jamaican people all the time. We can start training her. I said, I don't know about this. Start to train her as a backup plan. Eventually, I met her and fell in love with her. That's Dior, and she was just so willing to try anything. I mean, we had so many rehearsals. She would dance, everything. I mean, she had never acted before, but just her openness was just phenomenal. So, casted her, and then Trishana, who's Yellow Girl, she's Jamaican. She's an actress and a model living in LA. Phenomenal as well.
That scene where she has a bruise and the girl draws a flower around the bruise.
Yeah.
Heartwarming, touching. Gigi and I watch it and we're like, oh. Oh, but it's a bruise. She had trying to make the bruise pretty.
Literally.
That's what you're going for, right?
Yeah.
I was just like, yo, just don't make me like go all soft, like I'm a bad man still.
Oh my god.
When we are keeping.
Tell me when.
You know what I know.
Okay.
I'm a soldier on Call of Duty.
Anyways, continue. Get ready for more foolishness.
Right. So casted Trishana from her audition, fell in love with her. Sorry. And then Blacka was just the biggest surprise. So I was searching for Jamaican men in LA. Do you know it's so hard to find Jamaican men in
really?
LA?
We're everywhere.
That's what I was saying. They're all these.
Wait, hold on. Jamaican men or Jamaican actors?
No, men. I was like, anybody who's a Jamaican man, can you please come and act in this? We will like anything.
Yeah, just dash out money.
I would leave school. No, we quit. I would leave school at 11 p.m. from class with my backpack, my laptop, everything, and I would be going to something Tuesday, something Wednesday, every day.
Something Tuesday.
I had all these names, and I would show up there by myself, going in to these clubs.
And it's all American.
Let me tell you what you do wrong. May I tell you what you do wrong? When you go to something Tuesdays, you must go there with a chubby white girl wearing a shirt set, green card at you. And I bet you, the Jamaican man with a song.
That's beer, man.
You have to swat them away.
No, man, you see, you never do it right. Them see and them say, yo, scam that now. Yo, what kind of FBI agent them send out for me, man? No, man, you do it wrong. You do it in a way where the Jamaican man must say, yo, now I'm going to trust that.
Yeah, I trust it.
No, man, you must send a chubby white woman who is looking for love. Looking for love.
I'm telling you.
Want to get married next week. And the Jamaican man will be like, green card.
Oh my
The show gonna get
God.
cancelled.
No more show after this.
Anyway.
No, but couldn't find any. And then eventually I found one of my friends in LA said, there's a dancing community. There are a few people from the Caribbean who are choreographers. And
so which dance you can do? Continue. Boss one, man. Show one. Nobody not looking, Nobody not looking. It's an audio podcast.
Oh
3 screens.
Basically found Blacka after that. He was amazing, and it was his first time acting, first time for Dior as well, and they just were incredible.
Yeah, the first time actors, everybody seemed.
No, it felt felt a lot more polished than I thought it would be.
I mean, except for Trish, Yellow Girl.
Yeah,
Other
yeah.
But even, having to being a first-time actor and having to do a scene where, he touches her leg and all of that,
awkward.
It's
there was that really
Yeah.
creepy scene where they were dancing and then it got awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's really
I
good for
must say-
first time actors.
I must say that scene was captured so powerfully. It was such a
Thank you.
very emotionally moving scene.
Yeah.
To see just how they conveyed the intensity of the situation. It was so well done.
And the
And I
tension.
have to give
The tension.
yes, I have to give them props for first time actors.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
they did so well.
They really are.
Shane?
Yeah, I wanted to know as those first time actors, you find that they continuing to look for jobs in acting.
Right. I know for Dior, she started acting classes. And Blacka, I think he's mainly focusing on music now. So has a few songs he's released and music videos. I don't know if he's really going into acting. I'm sure if the opportunity came up, he would definitely go for
We
it.
say after this, go up on Netflix and them to me. He'll see after them. After we bust them levels in.
Exactly.
So moving away from just the actors or the personnel itself, but the movie and what you're trying to convey. I know you did say not a lot of good female representation, but I kind of wanted to look on the impact of speaking about what young Jamaican women go through, what young Jamaican girls go through. I mean, every day you turn on the news, the missing girl alerts.
There's one right now.
Yeah, well, she was found.
She was? She was really low.
Well,
Alright,
yeah, she was found.
Not-
She was
not the
found.
platform,
She
not the
was. She was.
Okay.
You want
But
some
anyway.
more pastures?
Yeah.
But yeah, she was found. But not just even the missing cases as well, but just how young girls are treated. Even as a teacher, the stories that I will hear from people who are now teach at like co-ed schools and girls' schools. One story that always hit me was somebody I know taught at a co-ed school. There's a girl who always reached on time for 9 o'clock. School is starting 7:30, but she would always be there 9 sharp. And when they finally ask her why, they say, because I have to make breakfast for my man and him have to drop me off before work. Second farmer. So these are the type of stories that the idea of what are these girls going through at this age? And I love how the film did that, not just with the story and the writing, the angles, what we're zooming in on, what we're looking on, like that scene when she's fake smoking the spliff. She's longing for some type
So
of
real.
yeah, she's longing for some sort of release.
Jumps get
And
ready.
you caught that. You caught that in moments. I mean, how hard was that to portray?
I mean, after speaking to Nicole and hearing her story, it was just such like a strong burning desire where I was like, I need to tell this story. Young Jamaican girls need to see themselves on the screen. And, I even work with some girls and I've asked them, like, you ever feel like, you watch something and you've seen yourself, or, you feel like you watch something and you think, okay, there's more for me. And they were all like, no, nothing really. And it broke my heart because I'm like, there's all of this stuff that they're going through, but I don't want, everything that they see of themselves on the screen to also be that. And so with my feature, it's a lot. It goes into a lot more, and it's kind of becomes both of them, Yellow Girl and Nicole, on like separate journeys to kind of finding how to love themselves again, and discovering their strengths. And so that's kind of why I did this short, was to hopefully get that film made where they can sit down and watch this and be like, okay, I don't have to do this. It may seem like this is the only option for me, and this is what society is telling me I have to do. This is what the people I'm around, this is what they've done, so I have to follow them. And just kind of starting the narrative where we can just change it up. And
Definitely.
yeah,
I like that. Gigi, when we watch a film, I know there are certain scenes with Yellow. Cause we spoke about the little girl. I know there are scenes with Yellow Girl that stood out for you. How was that impact?
Well, I'm not remembering any of those right now. But what I remember is the scene where she's in the bathtub and she's looking up, and like me and someone were like, "Is this a metaphor? Is she? What's happening?"
Yeah, is she really in that little sunlit room?
But like, I'm still confused. But it like is still impactful,
right.
in what you were saying.
Yeah.
I guess is what you're trying to convey of her feelings in that moment. Yellow Girl stuff.
I mean, you could touch on what she was just bringing up.
Right. I mean, a big thing I wanted to keep with the short, because you know I touch on it more in the feature, is having kind of more fantastical moments.
Yeah.
Because you know, as a kid, I think you can't really separate the two. So much of reality there's in nature, and her being touched and you know feeling taken advantage of in sequence. It is her imagination, but I thought you know in that moment that is how she would be feeling. This kind of. Because we found it completely abandoned. The whole thing was like painted this dark, chaos purple. And I went into the bathroom. It is so small. I'm telling you, like, so small. Just the camera can fit. Like, just the camera and the two actors could fit. That's it. But I saw the skylight and I just imagined looking down at her in the tub and feeling so small. And I was like, they have to go with this
deep. Deep, dog. Deep. No, really. It's I was impressed. I'm not going to lie, I was impressed, and I think that you really should push this film as hard as you can. No problem.
You said this is a short and there's a feature, so there's a longer.
Just script version now, but now I'm just trying to you know work on like a new draft of that, and then hopefully get that made.
So I know that Netflix is watching us. Free Bella.
Just remember Chat Bout Flim.
I was just curious, because you said it was after talking to Nicole or something.
Yeah.
So who is she in the story?
Is she the girl or the
Nicole is the young girl, but it's based on the actual Nicole. Who's like 28, 29.
So there's a story carried to. There's a feature carry us all the way through to meeting the director. Who shoots a movie about her life.
And I think what you did a good job of finding a unique story, finding a story that could be told. A lot of big movies started off as small versions, you know, as short films, you know. So I think that's a very good step. All the best with that film, and I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of you. Just everybody, look out for Yellow Girl and Me, next biggest feature for come out of Yard. You heard about it here first on Chat Bout Flim.
Where can people watch it?
The short. So it's still going around to festivals now. So it's not out for the public yet.
Okay.
But once that's done, then it'll be like on Vimeo or something like that.
Nice. That will actually be the end of our Something Local segment. So I just want to use this opportunity to big up everybody who has been on our Chat Bout Flim live. We are going to stop and save this segment, but if you want to watch the rest of it live, go to youtube.com/c/chatboutflim and look out for the actual audio podcast to hear how clean we sound in the microphones. You know, on Anchor, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher.
Yeah, anywhere.
I don't think it's on Stitcher. It's actually not on Stitcher. No.
You sure?
I'm not. Okay. But I don't think it's. Okay. So big up ending.
Go there and request it.
Yeah, we're gonna end and save the live.
Yes, I will save the live this time. Jesus.
Oh, and big up people who've been on my live. With that said, we are now going to move into. Sorry, this is just John.
No, we're going to move into. We want like a more, I guess, in-depth intro into you, like how you got started, like what made you want to become a director, your journey to AFI, things like that.
Sure. So, from a young age, I just loved movies, and I don't really remember what age it was, maybe like 14 or 15. I started to go to these little camps for like acting and directing, because I just was trying to in Boston and New York, and I would go for like a week and just see what I liked and love to actually be behind the camera. And I think for me, it's always been about telling stories about people who feel like they don't have a voice and people who are underrepresented, and that's just what I've been most passionate about.
Continue.
Yeah. Just growing up here and knowing the people, learn what just pushed me in that direction. Sorry, I'm so bad at holding this mic. So sorry.
It's just gonna sound like this and then come back. I joke. Continue.
So then I decided to pursue undergrad at Pepperdine University. I studied film there. Left it not really feeling like I had met lifelong collaborators.
Where's Pepperdine?
In California.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So kind of just, still felt like I needed that extra
oomph.
Mm-hmm. So just
or extra push.
Yeah. And I just wanted to be more challenged and actually grow as a filmmaker. So I went to AFI for the 2 years, which was just the most incredible experience. So challenging, but would not change it for anything. And met my collaborators and yeah.
Nice.
Apart from this film, do you have any look a full take phone camera, any startup videos?
Like from before?
Yeah, before.
School? Of course.
Yeah.
So many. I'm missing on. That was really
Just
no,
putting that right
next week.
No, I definitely need to see some.
No,
you have to see some.
Yeah.
I have an
We all
entire
start
video
somewhere.
challenge that is private, and there's like 50 videos on there, and you will never
Send me that link. John, sort out the link. Oh, it rough, then it rough. I mean, it's trial and error. I mean, even as a creative and a writer myself, there's a book of poems that I'll never publish, I'll never print. And it's that writing. Sometimes I go back to be like, okay, my shit don't sound like this anymore. Good. Like it's a little double check.
Right.
Every now and then I'll find like songs I recorded when I used to do music way back in the day, and it's like, whoo,
Yeah.
never to put on SoundCloud.
Delete them.
Yo, man, some gun tune there. See, right? Yo, remember we drum a song called Guns Will Bust.
Oh, will they?
Excuse me,
How?
is this my Moreland's Collins now?
What?
I'm very confused.
It was probably around them time. And it's just like, yo, you want us to rap about what? And then after a while, I was like, oh, guess who not busting gun? I'm the guy that's not busting. I mean, it comes down to creating art, thinking that this is what people want to see, thinking what this is what the art should look like, and you build the art, and then you move on in life, and then you look back at it, you're like, what was I thinking? You know?
Well,
But
I think that's also like, well, that wasn't really me. That was me trying to do what I thought people wanted.
yeah. So the reason why I asked that is that before on this podcast, Simon has said, get it out there. You have an idea.
Get it out.
You have a film idea. Use your phone. Just get it out there. Let's see what it is. I mean, once it's out there, you can critique it. You can make it better. You can do all these things. So I don't know. I guess it's just really encouraging to hear that your first film wasn't this. It was something.
Right. Of course. No, this was my first film. Yeah, no.
Like, I have to do that first time.
I mean, I get what you guys saying in terms of like the growth process and all those early projects and looking back and cringing. I actually did that with my music this week, and I went back from the first beat I ever made right up. I'm like, okay, there's so much of these that people never hear, but it's so good to like have that body of material to go back and listen to or check and just be like, you have grown and you'll keep growing. So you just use that as inspiration.
Definitely. Gigi, what is today's topic?
Okay, so today our topic is so we're going to go through
Star children.
Well, Star Child.
Yeah, there's like one child that
In
likes
each
the
film.
film.
Yeah. Well, you said childs.
Thank you.
Yo, and that's so
If you're going
authentic.
to correct my correction.
It's very foolish. It's going on this podcast.
It's all good. It's all good. Because we're there on Chat Bout Flim. We're there on Chat Bout Flim. So, all right.
So the Star Child then.
Yes.
Star Child then, not children, Shane. So Star Child, and I think we should let's start with one of yours first.
Right.
I tried really hard to finish the films that you had chosen, and I got halfway in two of them.
What?
I didn't get to finish Boy nor Girl Who Stole the Sun.
The link you sent me didn't have subtitles. Did you find one with subtitles?
No, well, no. I found the YouTube video did have subtitles for when I watched it. They did have subtitles for the African one, right?
They did.
Yeah, it did. They look a CC on the side for the link. But then I started Boy, and I just didn't get to finish it.
I'm very offended.
I am so.
Very
But
offended.
in any case, I think I saw enough to talk about this, the actor himself. I thought that New Zealand actor was pretty cool. So let's start with Boy.
What should we start with? Just
No, yours.
Okay.
All right. Why did you like Boy? Why does it? Because what we're doing is we pick 3 films that we're not going to say is our favorite, but maybe films that had an impact on us.
Right.
So what about Boy had an impact on you? Especially someone who just did a film about kid actors. This is a good topic for me as well because I write a lot of stories that have to do with kid star child. So
I think a main thing for me was just how Taika incorporated also imagination and reality throughout it.
He does that in Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, he does it so just like seamless. It's just perfect. And just also with him tonally, how he can make these like quirky films that are also touch on really serious topics. And it's about this boy and he's looking for his dad, who is supposed in his mind the greatest thing in the world. He comes face to face with him and he kind of realizes he's like this man-child almost. And it's a big awakening for him. But throughout the whole thing, I think what I love the most is how there's joy and then there's and like humiliation that he's feeling, and there's also like sadness and silliness. Like I don't know. And also he was a first-time actor as well. Taika went into these like local schools, and I think it was like a few days before casting, they switched him from an extra to play Boy, the main guy.
Interesting.
And I think like Taika was saying, it was mainly because of like how vulnerable he was on screen and his willingness. And I think that's huge for kids.
What I like about Taika's movies, and I will look on Jojo Rabbit and a little bit on What We Do in the Shadows, is that when he builds this world, you're really in that world.
Yeah.
So with Jojo Rabbit, what I really liked, because Jojo Rabbit was a close shave for me to add to my list. But remember, the kid was seeing a fake Hitler.
Yeah.
And I liked how, because Taika played the role of the dad in Boy.
And Hitler.
And so he did the Hitler for Jojo Rabbit, and he played the role of the dad in Boy. And there was, as you say, a man-child silliness that, to me, directly showed that extension of the kid's mind.
Right.
The extension of the imagination, And it was a little heartbreaking, too, because you're just like, oh, this poor kid.
It's right.
Like and
finally here with this person you've been dying to see, and then this is who he is.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I love about The Power of the Star Child is there was a touching moment early in the film from what I saw where the guy said, "Kid, you have potential," and he looks at the guy and is like, "What is the meaning of potential?" And I was like, But then the response of the teacher was, "It's 3:00. I'm off the clock," and then he walks out. Like, figure that shit out, boy. Figure that out. And there's been times where even me as a teacher where it's like, "Sir, what does this mean?" Google that, boy. Yeah, I done. And it's it's like a heartbreaking, and it's interesting that this one had an impact on you more than even a Jojo Rabbit, which got Oscars. You know what I mean? But there's something about that early stage direction that probably brought you out.
Right, knowing like that it was earlier, and just like him looking at like the family unit and that disconnect. I think I'm really drawn to those themes.
Nice.
So yeah.
Nice. Before we move to mine, the last thing I would say about that film that really touched me, I liked how it was colored. In a way, I like how your film was colored as well, where when you move from light to darkness was really good. But something about Boy, the color of it just felt really somber. Like you didn't know how to feel really. It wasn't trying to be light and bright. It wasn't trying to be dark. It was like, I'm going to put the tone right in the middle, and you feel how you want to feel when you see what is happening.
Exactly.
And that was very important.
Yeah. I wish I hadn't seen it before I knew Yellow Girl and Me. So I didn't even use it as a reference. But like the other two, Beast of the Southern Wild, that was a huge reference for us.
Nice. We'll leave that one for last.
That one, yeah.
So my first one, what do I have first on it? Is Room. Have you?
I love.
What did you think of Room?
I loved it.
So here's the thing about Room. that really stood out. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of. All right, not that I'm not the biggest fan. I like movies that stay in a place. One of my favorite stay in a place movies. I don't know if you've seen Rope by Alfred Hitchcock. It's one of the best fake one-shot movies where it's supposed to be an hour after they kill somebody and they stay in this one room where the dead body is hid in a grand piano. And it's all about them trying to make sure nobody opens this grand piano and catches it. And how they move around the space is just amazing. Alfred Hitchcock is one of my favorite directors. You know, he's a god. Shane, you've seen Rope? Do you know Rope? So yeah. So if we're talking about Rope, you could jump in on that one.
Yes.
But I'm using that as a reference to say that when directed well, you know, no, it's really funny because the scene that Jheanelle loves in Yellow Girl and Me when she's in the tub kind of reminds me of the room in Room. You know, it's like because there's like a one light that comes in somewhere, and it's just that one space, and to know that she's lived in that space and what that can do to the mind and what that did to the kid's mind when he eventually breaks out in Room, it's just like, what the hell is it? And he did that so well. And as a kid actor, I mean, you can it's hard to find that. You know what I mean? It's hard to know how to really teach that to a kid. There has to be a little bit of natural acting that is happening there. So for me, I had to pick that as a Star Child win for me because
that scene when he rolls out
when he rolls out to the truck.
Chills.
It's definitely chills. And then I think somebody finds him and he's just like, there are more humans. It's a real touching movie. It's a real touching movie. And I really love how it's portrayed. Brie Larson is really good in that. You know, one of the movies she acts well in, not Captain Marvel, you know. I hate Captain Marvel.
Same.
But yeah, don't.
Plan to.
Same.
But yeah, so that's why Room is one of my. You haven't seen it? Don't. Just watch Black Panther again. But yeah, so definitely one of my top picks. Your next move, you know, that we're going to talk about, you have to tell me a lot about it, which is the girl who sold the sun. Yeah, I didn't get through it, so talk me through it.
Simon.
Talk me through it.
Well, we actually saw that in our film class. It was like supposed to be the short film we watched before the feature, and it's 45 minutes, so it's a long short film.
That's a film.
That's a film. You know, like a novel will have a novella. That's a filmilla.
Yeah.
But I just remember sitting there and just really being in awe of that little girl and her perseverance. Because did you see it?
No.
So she basically is crippled and she has these crutches and she is just thinking of how, you know, to provide for herself. And so she starts to sell the local newspaper, The Sun. And
girl who saw the sun.
Right. But what I think really drew me to it was, you know, you see the world that they're all in and they're, you know, they're not trying to hide any of the poverty or any of that, but how, I mean, I've read reviews where they've said, like, you didn't see the ending scene, but basically
give it to me.
It's
spoilers.
Spoiler alert. Go ahead.
She is walking down this hallway so she was sitting down and her crutches were beside her and these kids come and steal her crutches, and then this guy who she's become friends with comes and helps her down the hallway, and it's kind of this wide shot and she's going down and she almost becomes like a blur, and people are saying, you know, maybe this is just saying that there's really no hope for her and that's what her life is going to be, always relying on people. And I don't know if I agree with that. I think I thought there was something beautiful about that scene and saying, like, we always need people to lean on, you know, we can't do everything on our own. And even in the beginning scene, you know, there's this woman who gets locked up because she's like this mad woman and the police are like, you're mad, blah, blah, blah. And people even think, some critics are like, well, like she's trying her hardest not to become that woman, but like you can clearly see through watching it how it would be so easy for her to be that woman behind bars. And yeah, there's this scene that's like 4 minutes long, and literally she's just walking, and she's in this yellow dress, and she has her crutches, and she's just, music is playing, and she's just dancing, and then she like gets to her table with her friends, and her little other guy friend comes in his wheelchair, and he has his radio, but people have to pay him for him to play the radio so people can listen to music, and they pay him, and then he plays it, and they just dance, and it's like 4 or 5 minutes, and I just cried like
do not listen, bad man cry too. Want you?
Which bad man that you know listen
So I did have a question that I would say, because even in what I started, what I do remember is that, so when I went to college, a lot of my friends, I had friends from Mozambique, Kenya, and not Mozambique, Tanzania, Kenya, and Nigeria. And I did find that in having conversations with a lot of my friends from the continent of Africa, that there's a lot of relativity between Jamaica and African countries. There's a lot of relativity between the third world living, you know, even if Nigeria will have lush parts or whatever, we're not saying that all of these countries are third world necessarily, but there is a lot that we can relate to. Do you find anything from Girl Who Sold the Sun that could help inspire films you make about Jamaica?
I mean, I like,
even in space and
a big thing for me was the colors of that film. Honestly,
what they wear, maybe the dress, the streets,
the
skin tones,
and just the whole like outside world. I was so drawn to, and I definitely use that as references. But a big thing for me also with that film is that, you know, people, you know, could say, I think, you know, it's like a message film, but I don't know about that, because I feel like, you know, those kinds of message films are kind of disregarded when they are more like rhetorical rather than like analytical. And I think with this film, it's not as rhetorical. It's definitely letting you sit there and think. It's not preaching anything at you, and I think that's why I really respect that filmmaking.
I was just kind of curious as to who did that film.
Jabril Diop Nambeti. I maybe pronounced that all wrong.
It's African.
And it's
it makes me wonder.
My background picture for like months, so if I didn't know the name, that would be really concerning.
Because the title of the film, it's, you know, the David Bowie song, "The Man Who Sold the Moon." You know, so I just kind of wanted, like, okay, which came.
I think this was actually supposed to be like one of 3 of his boy before he could complete that, I think.
Interesting.
So we're going to move on. My second is the Flower Project. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, Sean Baker.
No. No. There is something gritty and grimy about the Florida Project. Willem Dafoe is in that one too, right? I think he runs a hotel.
Yeah.
And those 2 abandoned girls is what we're calling it. And the idea of what I want to call the false American dream. Now, why I want to praise the children for showing that is sometimes we have this idea that, and especially for like Black people in America, where the American dream really comes down to your effort. Now, mind you, that American dream can be achieved with effort. But I think when it is generalized, it ignores the fact that there are just some people who are doomed. And no, just doomed. And it
can't pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
It's like your bootstraps pop.
Yeah.
Your boot pop.
What boot?
You know, and the thing about the Florida Project is just being in that crappy hotel and just all the elements. It's just like, what is saving this little girl? Not the people around her, not even Willem Dafoe, who's trying hard, who have to be beating off these pedophiles who come around to look fun. And it's just, it's a hard film to watch in a way. I think that same director did Tangerine, I think, if I'm not correct. And that director does a lot of hard films to watch. And Florida Project stood out to me because, I mean, it's colorized too. You know, you ever go to like one of those hotels, Shane, where you walk in and the paint chip smell? You know, like you don't even need to look, but you know, so the paint, that the wall is chipping because how it smells. That's Florida Project.
It's the type of hotels you carry your own sheets to, right?
Right. Or if you don't have your sheets, you just know, so you sterilize your face the next day. But there was a griminess about it, and there was something. The kids drove on that movie. Like, you could have had that with maybe adult actors that would be like, oh, that's a cool movie. But when you put it in the perspective of that child, it hits home. It hurts. What did you think?
There's
of
like
it?
a restlessness to it
Yes.
that I thought was really powerful. And just like how the little kids have these like devilish attitudes, you know,
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know. Yeah, I remember hearing him speak about working with them actually, and it was funny because he was like, you know, I've never worked with that age group of like 6 to 9, and you know, you can't just hope like, because you know, for me, I'm not like you have to stick to the script. Like if something feels more natural for you to say, I have no problem switching up the line on set and being like, all right, that sounds better, let's do that. I know some directors who it's like, do what I've written and no other option, right? But like with him, he was like, yeah, you know, usually I'm just used to like, okay, just try to know it as much as possible kind of thing, but you can't do that with kids. And I also found that with my film was like, you know, they really need to know every line. He was saying like, yeah, they had to come to set knowing everything, and he had to walk through the blocking so precisely because they're new to it. And I think it was also her first time acting.
No man, it's a movie that it hits home, and I think it got some Oscar noms. Florida Project. Gigi will check that in a second. And you got nominated for? Maybe a screenplay.
Well, the awards were the Critics' Choice Movie Award. It won.
Check Academy Award. If it got nominated. Not to this, the other award shows. You know, we love all award shows. Yeah, but while she look for that, it's definitely a stand-up movie, and that's why, you know, it knocked off some others that I would have put up there. Simply for the fact that I put
Best Supporting Actor.
And he was amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. But the role the kids played and his care for those kids, I don't know, it hit home. And so one of those movies I love. And
you win nothing to this.
And as a Star Child movie, that ending where they're like running away and they kind of run outside Disney World. And then my mind is like, they'll never afford to go in there. Maybe in the future, the American Dream help one of them.
Maybe Ellen will. Ellen's
With Ellen? Yeah. Are we going there?
If he was.
Apparently, the quick summary is apparently on set, she's a raving bitch.
I did, yes. I read that.
Did you see what I was about to say? You're like, oh. No.
About Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah.
Okay, I did see that.
Yeah. Apparently on set, she's just a czar. It's like, cut the camera. You're the worst.
No, and everybody in her, like the heads in her company kind of perpetuate that kind of.
That's what I wonder. If it was,
I hate this word.
Is that she who she is, or is it the people?
She and everybody just stay so.
Okay.
She didn't stop it. She knew about it, and she's just like, well, whatever. We're making money. This is how it goes.
No matter if she do it or not, if it's alive in her company, it's her responsibility.
So, yeah, definitely.
Okay, Jiminy Cricket.
But anyways, let's get back. We can get back.
Yeah, man. So, your final film,
Beast of the Southern Wild.
Beast of the Southern Wild. What a ride! What a trip! Beast of the tell me about the movie. Tell the viewers, tell the listeners about the movie.
I don't want to like what the plot. No, right?
Yeah,
spoil it. Just a quick.
Okay, I'll just talk about things I like.
Yeah. No pressure.
I don't know. Everything is good. That little girl, she was 5 when she auditioned. Fun fact. Couldn't read. But okay, I think the biggest thing I like is that
5 and couldn't read.
Yeah,
crazy.
She said she could barely read. Like
like
little
possible.
Yeah,
crazy.
But I think my biggest thing about that film is how it's kind of like a mythical film in a way. And what are the name of those things? Aurochs?
I definitely don't remember the name of it. Gigi's on it. So all of the mythical animals.
Ooh, I can't say it either.
Aurochs?
Aurochs.
Aurochs.
Okay.
Aurochs. So the aurochs,
Yeah. So I think for me, when it ended, my biggest takeaway was like just how cool it was that he was like, okay, here. I think his inspiration was from these cave paintings, and he was like, here are these creatures that have gone extinct, and here is this little girl who, in her mind, she's going extinct, you know, and for her, it's the end of the world. Her dad's sick, these ice caps are melting, like her life is ending, and she's coming face to face. These two creatures are coming face to face with each other, and you know, in reality, they're supposed to go after each other. You know, this orc should be killing her and eating her or whatever, and instead. It's like they have this moment where they're looking at each other, and it's like, here we are, we're both these honorable beings who are going to just acknowledge each other and not commit this sin of killing off the last extinct, you know, make each other extinct in a way, you know? And I just thought that was, because I think, like, for me, I know that's something I want to, like, strive to do in my films is, like, have that, like, mythical elements and fantastical imagination, all of that. And I think that was just so well done. I don't think a lot of people can pull that off, you know, especially just how it comes in kind of towards the end. And,
So what I love about Beast of Southern just how powerful that girl.
Gosh, she's insane.
It's just... There are times where I was just like, yo, this girl is about to just kill these monsters. What's she doing? And then she will exhibit that power, and then she will just look so vulnerable and cute at times. And I'm just like, where did this little girl find this range?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what is she doing now? Like, she in the new movies?
When she's like eating the thing, and it's like beast it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I love you.
So I just remember there are just certain scenes and then she does this with facial expressions. She does this with shouting. She does this with her antics, and that's acting to me. That's like top-notch acting. You know, I look on even, like, for example, going back to Jojo Rabbit for a little. Jojo Rabbit was very big on his dialogue and how he spoke. And he's just like, I'm going to speak with all this eloquence, and I'm small and cute and dressed like a soldier. And that was cool. There's a Wes Anderson film, Moonrise Kingdom. I don't know if you've seen Moonrise Kingdom. That almost made my list too, and that was very big on dialogue as well. So Beast of Southern Wild is so big on how she body acts, and you don't get that a lot. It's so poetic. You don't get that a lot.
Yeah.
So that's a real star child to me.
No.
You know.
I was going to say
she doing more movies?
No, not really. She was in Trolls, and then she was on a couple episodes of Blackish, and then we have her here for Swaggle. I've never seen it. It's a TV series. She's on a couple episodes.
She's bringing back the business on
in 2014, she did a video short. You're never fully dressed without a smile. You know, something we should watch.
I don't know.
But it's so poetic, and I think, you know, the cinematography also in it is so
100%.
powerful. Like,
it's a pretty film. It's a beautiful film.
I think it's mainly like very shallow depth of field, and like I think even
for the people, what I mean.
Like, very like exploratory lens, like focus. It's a very reactive camera, like wide lenses, and I think the cinematographer even said, like, on set he realized, like, okay, he's going to be one of her senses, her eyesight, and you know he knew what the director liked, and would like say, like, okay, I know what we were going for, and kind of just went with it, which I'm like, that's like the relationship I have with my cinematographer, with Yellow Girl, and I think it's just the best.
Call him up, big him up if you want to.
Diego! He's best. He came to Jamaica because he was like, I need to feel this place if we're going to recreate it in LA.
Nice.
And
I will say though, I liked how well you tried with it, with making LA look.
Oh God, it was such a struggle because he can't. If you
but we definitely picked up it wasn't. I think.
Yeah, of course it's a lake. It's not a river.
And
even the house. The house is what I was just like, okay.
So and then
you know what's the funny thing? The funny thing is, it could have almost passed for Jamaica. I'm gonna tell you why.
If it did zoom in,
no, yes, just a little, because there's a part of the Rio Grande that looks just like that.
Really?
I kid you not.
Think about that for the big feature, for the big money one that Chat Bout Flim is doing the BK spot. It's doing that, so Rio Grande, that's what we're talking about.
Not recreating nothing for the
recreate.
No, what you saying Rio Grande?
The Rio Grande.
Okay.
So think about that.
I will.
And then Chat Bout Flim will do all of the BTS. What? What? What do you mean? What do you mean? What? What? What?
So what?
Anyway, back to Lisa Southern. Back to Lisa Southern.
Back to now.
Well, yeah. But I mean, we've said what we can about that film. Really great film, and I'm glad you added that as one of yours. So we're now on to my last one, which is a blockbuster film. I was really searching for a blockbuster. We had a lot of independent or not so well known films, and Sixth Sense. And I think Sixth Sense is a standout. Sorry. What's some show? Don't understand.
Okay, we're back.
Are we? Where did we go? So the thing about Sixth Sense that I think it's iconic. First of all, it's iconic. I see dead people.
Right.
You know, like
who don't know that line?
Who don't know that line? Dead people.
Who's the actor again?
Dead people know that line.
Who's the actor again? What's his name?
Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, is hilarious in present day.
What is he doing?
He's
He
in
was
a
on
few
Silicon
shows.
Valley.
He was on Silicon Valley. He was on The Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was also on Californication, I think.
Yes, he was.
And he's not so tall, but he's really fat.
Oh.
And he just plays a role of really fat, annoying people.
All right.
So he would play the role of just like a fat rich guy who's just an asshole.
I can't really imagine him in my mind right now. As a
Yeah,
big
it's
person.
you won't, and then you see it and you're
And
like,
imagine him as a little person looking exactly like that as a grown-up person.
but that he just looks like a Powerpuff grown up. No, her face was just like, what that?
person.
Gosh, he's just a marshmallow version of
You
himself.
grow up. And
Wow.
you grow up.
And he just embraces that typecast, that role. He's just fat version of himself.
Oh, one things, yeah.
Yeah.
He was so good though.
He was so good in that
Honestly,
role.
I was like, not for 1 second did I not believe him. I was like, you are this person. It's kind of freaking me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you just think of all the doppies that you encounter in your life, right?
Every day.
I mean, I feel like a Jamaican version of Sixth Sense, easy.
Oh my god.
Easy. At Rose Hall or something.
Easy. Yo,
Easy.
there's so many places they can shoot that.
Yeah.
Banana Fields out of St. Mary.
Yeah. I mean, we might die shooting it.
Talk to
Should
yourself.
we do it?
Should
You
we do it?
should.
Should we do it?
Yes.
A Chat Bout Flim
You want to
production,
write it?
directed by Bella, written by Simon Red.
Write it.
No,
Endorsed.
do
Rolling cap and the whole works.
I have a treatment for rolling cap, and I did the scouting out at St. Thomas.
Chat Bout Flim doing things.
I have the script and the treatment, but that's been.
Don't give it too much. Don't give it too much. Don't give it too much.
No.
They have to pay.
I have the era that is going to
Money.
I have all of that. That's the
No.
location. I have the
That's St. Thomas,
town that is
yeah.
actually going to be shot in.
How long is it?
The script?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a 15-minute film.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's
So
St.
Hold
Thomas.
on.
In there like somewhere.
St. Thomas.
Mark your, what are we, 2010? 2020?
Yeah.
I wrote that it's been written
10
since
years.
2010.
10.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
I was like, where? You just asked us if we're in 2010?
Time travel.
Okay.
Right? Umbrella Academy over here. So not only just him being a star child, obviously, I do really, it actually was a close choice between Sixth Sense and Paid Forward.
Mm.
Now, Paid Forward stood out for me more the role of creepy guy, Kevin Spacey, who I shamefully will keep admitting was once my favorite actor. Before his, so that's fine. That's fine. Paid Forward was it was a simple film basically about a little kid who had this idea of doing a pyramid scheme of good stuff. So you would do a nice thing for a person and you would say, I don't want anything from it except do a nice thing for 3 people. And tell all those people to do nice things for 3 people. It was like a project. But he was just having a shit life. And so was the teacher. and he was the actor in that. But his impact on screen was just amazing to me. And for Sixth Sense, as you say, you felt like he really could see dead people. You know, and to have that type of impact as a kid is big to me. I mean, what else did you like about that movie other than the documentary?
movies. I just like scary movies. And it
Okay,
scared me.
okay.
Yeah.
Is that
Like my
something you want to
guilty
direct
pleasure.
one day?
No, I couldn't direct them. I think I would laugh. too
Well, if you're
much.
cringing, you laugh too much.
Behind the scenes, like I think I would laugh seeing all these people walking around drinking coffee, like half of their face gone. I think I would laugh.
Which would be fine. I mean,
Yeah.
Key & Peele definitely has a sketch where it's like off camera.
Yeah.
And right before his zombies, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh. So
I
it's,
actually think what's his name?
Jordan Peele.
This boy.
Haley Joel Osment.
He
The
Osment.
big fat man.
The
he
big
said
fat
in an interview that he went into that audition saying, okay, I'm not Haley, I'm Cole. I'm just living normal life. And I'm just gonna go in there, it's a normal day for Cole. And I'm just gonna live. And I'm like, to be that young and to have that mindset.
To do method acting.
Yeah. And he
Yeah.
said, I think the first time he read the script, he was having nightmares. And then after that, he was like, nah, it's okay. We're fine.
Interesting.
But nightmares are a good way to get in character. Though.
Right.
No, I was gonna finish. But yeah, no, that was it. All right, that was it. All right. Well, that is it for our topics.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Get
Yeah,
one. Get one.
Get
You
one.
see, as Jamaicans, we can't not bring up this one, and it's something that has brought a lot of joy. It's not me.
Said Johnny.
No. What? Macaulay Culkin, Home Alone.
All right.
We can't live out that.
Did you see his recent tweet?
Yeah, it's about me.
Yeah.
He's like,
I'm 40.
hi, I'm 40. Feel old yet?
Oh shit! Yeah,
I do.
I saw that.
I do. I was
But-
like, no, you're not.
But for real though, that Home Alone, it has brought a lot
40.
of fun to Jamaican homes
Definitely.
over the years.
Definitely saw that in the drive-thrus and it was great.
Yeah.
So big up Macaulay Culkin anywhere you're there. 40-year-old man. But yeah, so that is it for Star Child. And I just want to big you up for your movie. So yeah. The writer at Simon the Writer, follow me.
Shane, you have any honorable mentions?
Oh yeah. The Artful Dodger from Oliver Twist was my
Nice.
favorite character, man. I grew up.
Please, sir, can I have some more?
Well, he didn't do that actually. Artful Dodger was the guy who used to pick everybody's pocket. Oliver Twist was the please, sir, can I have some more?
I am incorrect.
As usual. And then there is. I grew up with Corey Haim and Corey Feldman.
Yeah,
So that's like
Glorious.
Lost Boys, that kind of film.
Stand By Me is also a big
Right.
Star Child.
Who also added rate? When you said Macaulay Culkin, I remember a movie Good Son with Elijah Wood, who was another tremendous child actor, and of course the queen of them all, Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
In E.T.
Yeah, man, Firestarter, E.T., like
Yeah.
career as a child was probably better than it is as an adult.
Just sticking that in there. Just sticking it in there.
What?
So
What?
we want to thank you, Bella,
Thank
for coming
you,
here
guys.
and sharing your points of view with us. So we're going to ask you a question that we ask all of our guests, which is if you had don't freak out.
Yeah, she's like, oh my god!
Don't freak out.
She's like, the pressure! Don't get it wrong.
You can. You honestly can.
That's such a fussy move.
If you had a superhero power, what would it be?
Maybe read minds.
No
Is that
matter
yours also?
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
That was my.
What's yours?
What's mine? Mine is so lame. What was mine? Oh, healing. Jesus Christ. Healing other people and myself. You know, big up Pierce for still having the baddest one.
Yeah.
What was his? What was Pierce's?
Luck.
Infinite luck.
Absolute
Oh,
love.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Luck.
So he's like, he would just walk through the street and cars can't hit him. You know, just infinite luck. Kind of like Domino, but infinite.
Yeah.
But yeah, but read in mind. So you're a creep. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
And so we want to give you a gift
Aww.
for coming here and talking to us.
Take a
Can I turn this off?
He's doing it.
Or what do I do with it?
Give it to him.
Look at that and be like, will you give merchandise?
His picture is not good.
You know, I don't
It really was. You guys are the.
Is this going to be exactly like the camp picture that
We should show that.
Yeah, I'll show them at some point.
Ready, set, cheese.
Good?
I mean, how was it? Yeah, we're just gonna work with that picture, whatever it is.
Bella,
Don't leave it here, it's your shirt.
It's your shirt. Definitely wear that for
I
Moses.
will. I got you guys. Next set I'm on.
Yeah.
Most deaf. We should get her to Flim for one.
Yeah. Oh, you went on set? Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So with that, we're just going to do a big show wrap and just be like, you have no mic right now. Just going to do a big show wrap and say, big up Bella, everybody out there. Follow at Bella Issa, okay, it's like 3 A's.
Yeah.
So at Bella Issa, at Yellow Girl Film,
I think so.
right? You think so? What is your problem? At Yellow Girl Film,
We'll have the links.
at Jheanelle Levy, at Tony Dice, at Chat Bout Flim, those on YouTube, at Jamie Andre,
Yeah.
at John Bear 23, at everybody, just at follow up. No, for the podcast itself, at your mother. It's all foolishness on the show. It's all foolishness on the show.
It's the vibe.
For those, just remember it is a podcast, so please check all the big podcasts right now. Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Republic. Can't remember all of them, but if you go to Anchor, it's not on station.
No, it's not.
You don't know.
It's not.
I verified.
It's not.
Okay.
And and follow us on the podcast to get the nice good up audio. So Bella, big up yourself. Anybody else you want to big up before we go?
No.
All who never get big up, all that. And with that, we're just going to together this bus Wakanda forever. Bless. That has been Chat Bout Flim. And as usual, you get to watch me in the stream. Boom.